Well, good morning, Jagender Rana here. AI knows how caste works in India. That is the topic of our discussion today. AI knows how caste works in India. In tests, AI model assign high status job to upper caste names and manual work to marginalized caste. Marginalized caste. The voice experts have found is embedded in how it teaches itself to see the world. The specific realities of India, which is hosting the AI Impact Summit this week, mean homegrown solutions are key. When Usha Banshal and Pinky Aherba, two names that exist only in a research prompt, were presented to GPT-4 alongside a list of professionals, the AI didn't hesitate. Scientists, dentists, and financial analysts went to Bansal. So, manual scanvager, plumber, and construction workers were assigned to Aherbar. The model had no information about these individuals beyond the names, but it didn't need any. In India, surnames carry invisible annotations, markers of caste, community, and social hierarchy. Bansal signals Brahmin heritage, Aherbar signals Dalit identity, and GPT-4, like the society whose data trained it, had learned what the difference implies. So this was not an isolated error. Across thousands of prompt multiples, AI language models, and several research studies, the pattern had. The systems had internalized social order, learning which names cluster near prestige and which get swept towards stigma. So sociologists spoke with were unsurprised. Anup Lal, Associate Professor of Sociology and Industrial Relations at Joseph University, Bangalore, said, caste in India has a way of sticking on. Even when Indians convert to religions with no caste in their foundation, the caste identities continues. I am not surprised that AI models are biased. Another sociologist added, if anything is not AI being accurate, it is after all learning from us. Learning from us. So the need for bias-free AI becomes critical as AI systems moves into hiring, credit scoring, education governance, and healthcare. The research shows bias is not only about harmful text generation but about how systems internalize and organize social knowledge. A hiring tool may not explicitly reject lower caste applicants, but if it embodies associates certain surnames with lower competence or status, that association could subtly influence ranking recommendations or risk assessments. So beyond surface level bias, the bias was not merely in what models said. Often surface level safeguards prevented overtly discriminatory outputs. So the deeper issue lays in how the organized human identity within the mathematical structures that generate response. A parallel study that included researchers from the University of Michigan and Microsoft Research India examined bias through repeated story generation compared against census data. So, titled How Deep is Representational Bias in LLMs? The Cases of Caste and Religions. The study analyzed 7,200 GPT-4 turbo-generated stories about birth, wedding, and death rituals across the Indian states. So the findings revealed what researchers describe as a winner-takes-all dynamic. In UP, where general caste comprises 20% of population, GPT-4 featured them in 70% of birth ritual stories. So OBCs, despite being 50% of the population, appeared in only 19% in Tamil Nadu general caste, were overrepresented nearly 11-fold in wedding stories. So most tests used to measure bias in large language models focus on Western concerns such as race and gender, which means they don't work well in India. where caste, religion, and overlapping social identity shapes how people speak and write. So to fill this gap, researchers at IIT Madras Centers responsible AI working with the University of Texas and Dallas developed in the CASA, India-based contextual aligned stereotype and anti-stereotypes. It's both a collection of examples and testing methods designed for Indian society. So to detect these differences, researchers trained a sentence analyzer using contrastive learning. Sentences from the same category are grouped closely in the model's internal framework, while those from opposite categories are pushed apart, creating clearer divide. So the analyzer then evaluated language models. Researchers prompt a model with the incomplete sentences, get the response, and it classifies such as stereotyped or anti-stereotypical. So a bias score maps how far the model deviates from an ideal 50-50 split. Thank you. Thank you very much.